Welcome to the Sportsman's Voice podcast, your inside connection to outdoor legislation. From the Beltway to policy happening your way, we're covering it all. I'm your host, Fred Bird. Join us as we explore public land access, wildlife and fisheries management, Second Amendment rights, the triumphs that shape our nation, the sports we all love, and the stories that fuel our passion for the great outdoors. This is the Sportsman's Voice podcast. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Sportsman's Voice podcast, the official podcast of the Congressional Sporting Foundation. This week, we're bringing you a wrap-up of our Congressional Sporting Clays event. We were down there in Prince George's County having a good time with CSC caucus co-chairs, leadership, partners from the industry. Despite a little wet weather, a good time was had by all. And if you tuned in to the Sportsman's Voice Roundup yesterday, that was one of our articles that we touched on. Go back and listen to it a little more, maybe. But we're gonna bring you the sound that was referenced in that article. We're catching up with leaders, Congressmen Westerman, Graves, and Panetta. We have our friends and leadership from NSSF, Boone and Crockett, and Retay, who were on hand with their fine firearms at this shooting event. Very apropos. So, all that said, let's get into it. We're bringing you sounds from the Congressional Clays competition. Let's go. All right, we are here at the Congressional Sportsmen's Foundation shooting clay competition here in PG, Maryland, and all sorts of stuff going on here in the background. Joined once again by Chairman of Congressional Sportsmen's Caucus, Mr. Bruce Westerman. Sir, welcome, and thanks for being here.
Fred, it's always great to be out here where we get members of Congress, both parties, and we get a lot of folks in the outdoor recreation world that come out to shoot here at this great course in Maryland.
We're gonna let that helo pass over. It's when you're doing this outside, it's always perfect timing with these things. So, all right, as that clears out, a couple quick questions for you, and we'll release you to the course. First of all, really, it needs to be said, this gathering here, as you and I both talked about a couple of weeks ago, this is really a great example of how leadership in both chambers can get together and actually affect change and get things done. And right here under this pavilion. And it's just, I think there's so much to be learned from the Sportsman's Caucus.
Yeah, the Sportsman's Caucus is, again, the largest bipartisan caucus in Congress. And we work on issues that we can come together on, and sports and outdoor recreation, hunting, fishing. That's usually something that has a lot of support both sides of the aisle. And it shows here today with all the great turnout that we've got at the shoot.
Last time you and I talked as well, you had not yet gotten to the turkey woods. Busy historic days on the Hill. Have you been able to break away yet?
I did, and I'll just say the turkeys won.
Were you able to go to the home state?
Yeah, I went back home. I missed the whole first week of turkey season, and got after a bird the first morning I went out. He just didn't present himself with a field shot, and then they shut up.
Yeah.
Finally started gobbling a little bit in the last 2 days of the season, but it was pretty much over. But that's why they call it hunting. And the days I hunted, I think I hunted harder than I maybe ever turkey hunted. So there's a lot of, we call them mountains, some people call them hills. Washita's where I hunt. And I was tuckered out, climbing up and down hills, trying to get set up on turkeys. But man, I love that.
Yeah, it's wildly consistent across the country this year with the turkeys doing exactly what you said. So, turkey season 2024, there it is in a nutshell. Do you have any outdoor adventures planned later this year, either abroad or in your home state?
Oh yeah, I hope to be fishing this weekend. I've got I'm shooting Fodell to Africa.
Oh wow!
Rwanda, I'm looking forward to that, and learning about wildlife conservation over there. That's going to be a great trip. Just did some fishing this past weekend down in Florida. I got a lot of things planned.
That's outstanding.
A spare moment where I'm not having to mow the yard or do something like that. You're probably going to catch me outdoors.
Yeah. The trip to Africa sounds great on the face of it, but there's so much to be learned from the conservation model that is happening over there. So it'll be great to catch up with it when you get back. Arkansas, anything you can recommend to the people, non-residents coming in, anything to highlight and why they should hunt, fish Arkansas?
It's just a great place. It's a natural state. It's beautiful. So my kids are all coming in June, and we've got a family vacation plan. We're going to go up and float the Buffalo National River. We'll probably have fishing poles in the canoes and the kayaks, and do a little bit of pleasure fishing on the route down. But looking really forward to that. And I would encourage anybody that's if you've never been to the Buffalo National River, it's a wonderful place. It's great places to hike and see wildlife, and there's remarkably some very good smallmouth fishing.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, sir, you got to get out in there. The team is waiting for you. So thanks so much for your time and your leadership, and we'll see you when you get off the course.
Glad to do it.
All right, good luck. You bet. All right, as you can hear by the background, we are well into the Congressional Clays competition. Rain or shine, and it.
You may not be able to hear the gunshots over top of the rain at this point.
Yeah, but we got both. So anyway, folks are having a good time. Right now, joined by Jesse with Retay, and you were just tipping me to some latest news with the organization.
Absolutely, yeah. So Retay is just one entity of our newly formed Banshee Brands organization. So currently we are holding two new shotgun companies, so Retay and Breda out of Italy. So Retay being a Turkish manufacturer out of Konya, Turkey, and Breda being out of Brescia, Italy.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
So you guys were down at our NAS Summit in Dewey Beach.
Absolutely.
Folks had a chance to run some of your rigs. Obviously, you were there in December. You're here now. What is the importance of this partnership for you guys being involved with CSF and what we do?
Absolutely. We all know that we're under pretty hard scrutiny in the firearms industry. That's without going to say. But one of the biggest things for us, as being a conservationist myself, giving back to the people that are actually putting in the effort and the works for us to consider our kids the availability to have a future in the outdoors. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, so it's extremely important for me to have the access and availability to conservation efforts and the shooting sports going down the line. So, 7 and 4, that's a pretty tender age for what could happen in the future. So we're extremely happy to be a part of this.
Yeah, no, for sure. And taking away as well as those opportunities or putting the barriers of entry in the way to such a young generation is quite frankly part of the problem. And you're seeing so many states not rolling back those age restrictions and trying to not improve upon, but make them even more arduous and raising those age limits.
Absolutely.
So
I think you said it right. It's a barrier to entry, and a lot of kids growing up don't have us to walk them out into the woods as well. So the programming that you guys have for the availability to have new shooters and get involved. I think how many people were new shooters today? It was crazy.
Yeah, there was a few handfuls.
Yeah.
Anyway, they went out there and had at it. So I'm looking at some folks coming in here, and they're a little
saturated.
What's the feedback been? NAS, talk about that real quick with the feedback on those systems and how folks enjoyed them up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're an inertia-based company. So trap is a small part of what we do. Breda now being our mainstay company in the trap and skeet world, getting people for the first time, getting introduced to the brand, and then being able to shoot them today has been a great thing. The cool thing for us is to have such a diverse group of people here, and from all over the country, right? So Retay is represented in all 50 states in our dealer base. So as we continue to grow and offer a price-pointed product to the market, it really, once again, talking about barrier to entry, allows a quality product to get into the hands of new shooters and experienced shooters alike. So, we range from $199 pump gun to, now with the Breda brand into the $4,000 range.
Yeah, so, having that parity and pricing is important, especially, at the state level where we're fighting state legislators trying to impose additional sin taxes, or they like to call them excise tax.
Yeah.
We'll call it what
it is.
already on top of the 10 to 11% that's already baked into the cake for federal funding PR dollars, and it's and it's by design pricing people out of the market.
Yep, absolutely. So, PR dollars are important. We know that. I mean, especially for me as an outdoorsman, and then really in the shooting sports as well. I mean, a lot of people are paying into that don't know they're paying into it,
Right.
but it's a great process. When you get into the situation where we're going to start walking a lot of people out of this sport and out of this industry because it's not attainable, it's not affordable, when it shouldn't be, obviously. So we're trying to keep a good price point of product for people to be able to get introduced and then take the steps up as they go in their journey as far as being a shooter, an outdoorsman or woman. So,
Well, it's great to have you guys here, have your continued support. It does take all of us, and our organization being the voice for so many, especially with our partners, is vitally important to. It's an increasingly hostile space, and all of us together can do great things. So we
absolutely. The great part of this is we have how many gun brands here today? I mean, there's probably 5 or 6 different gun brands, all working in unison because we all have one ultimate goal, and that's to be able to continue this legacy in the shooting sports world.
Yeah, well, fantastic. Thanks so much again for your time, for your support, and I'll let you get back to showing people Retay and all you guys are doing. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Right? Okay, perfect. So the rain continues, as does the fun and the smiles here in the PG County Sporting Complex. We're joined now by CSE co-chair and congressman from the state of California, Representative Jimmy Panetta. Sir, how are you? Thanks so much for your time.
Look, it's like I said, the weather's a little dark, but the day is actually very bright. We had a good time, raised some good money for the Congressional Sportsmen's Foundation, and it's always good to be out here because I can think of a lot worse places to be. But the fact that you get Democrats and Republicans coming out here, coming together, razzing each other, having a good time out there on the range, it's been a hell of a day.
Yeah, so talk more about that, because it's a great, fantastic point, and about the caucus and everything you guys are able to achieve, and really setting the example for leadership on the Hill.
Yeah, no, look, we obviously with my co-chair, Bruce Westerman, with the fact that, and obviously him being in his chairman position on natural resources, can obviously get an opportunity to work together on these issues that are important to hunters, they're important to anglers, and it really comes down to issues that need to be more important to Democrats and Republicans,
Indeed.
to be honest with you. And the caucus kind of gives us that platform upon which we can advocate for conservation issues, making sure that we continue to protect the environment in which we can continue to hunt, shoot, and fish.
I think every American citizen can get on board with that. Like, we like beautiful spaces, we like clean water, we like clean air, we like to outdoor recreate. I mean, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's a bipartisan issue, and that's what I try to stress to my district. And when they ask me, what are you doing on this Sportsman's Caucus? And I say, look, it's about conservation, and it's about making sure that we have lands that we can protect so that we can continue the tradition of sporting that's so important to our country and so important to our future, if you ask me.
And for in California, you guys just have so much diversity of resources, of landscape, of habitat, and even in your district itself, there's so much there.
That's it. I have a very diverse district in a number of areas, especially when it comes to geography. Obviously, we have our coast, our stunning coastline. We got our amazing ocean, but then we also have some pretty good forests as well, in which, like I said, you can do a lot of the things that sportsmen do. And so I think it's the least we can do as representatives of the federal government, or at least the representatives of our districts at the federal level, is to make sure that the federal government plays its part and make sure that we look at laws, we look at appropriations that can support these types of conservation efforts. And I think you're seeing that. And you saw it last Congress. This Congress is a little bit more difficult based on the makeup, but it's not going to slow us down. I've been here since 2017. I've seen a lot of vision, but I've also seen a lot of things get done. And that's what more people need to realize about Congress is, yes, they turn on the TV and, they like to see the dysfunction. I get it. But the fact is, good governing is good politics. And you got a bunch of members here who are part of the Congressional Sportsmen's Caucus who understand that, believe that, and actually act on that.
Last session, as you referenced, 27 bills made it to the president's desk. 2 of those were sportsman related. And just recently here had some movement on some other good legislation. So obviously we appreciate the work of the caucus and your leadership and what you guys get done.
And that's exactly it. Thanks for pointing that out. And that not only, in the 117th Congress we did a lot, but in the first year of the 118th, you're right, the Congressional Sportsmen's Caucus actually led the way. As limited amount of bills that we actually had a significant amount when it comes to Congressional Sportsmen's Caucus.
Sir, in the time we have left, because I want to get you back to your folks here and talking with the guests. California, people that haven't been to California, sportsmen and women, what should they look for? We kind of touched on it, so much opportunity. Is there something, one or two things that any sportsman and woman should come to California for?
Yeah, look, I think my district's diverse, but ideally, what it comes down to is the whole state is diverse, like I said, in its geography. So you can go anywhere from go sport fishing out on the Monterey Bay and then be an hour away from an excellent duck blind over there in the Central Valley. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to offer in a little bit of a time that you can get to and obviously exercise our rights as sportsmen who want to continue to hunt and fish, but like I said, also enjoy the outdoors, and that's really what the Congressional Sportsmen's Caucus is about. Yes, it's what's California about, and we got to make sure that the two come together, but that's all across the country.
As a very intense turkey hunter, I've heard beautiful things about California Rios and great vineyards that sound so appealing, and someday I'm going to get over there and do that myself. Have you been able to break away? It's a very busy time on the hill. Have you gotten a line wet or been able to do anything in the spring?
Well, after the results today, you'll see that I haven't had much time to get out and hunt. But hopefully, once we come into the summer, take a little break, we can enjoy some time. But unfortunately, missed most of the season. I had some pigeon hunting with my nephew, which was a good time. He serves in the Navy, so he came home and we got out there some early morning.
Awesome.
And just kind of got a couple of shots off. But it's more nice just being together and being on the outdoors.
Congressman Panetta, thanks so much for your time. Thanks for your leadership, and thanks for all you do.
Thanks, Fred.
Okay. All right, it looks like the rain has stopped for now as we come back under the pavilion here at the Congressional Clays shooting competition. And I'm joined now by Tony Sheenan of Boone and Crockett, CEO of Boone and Crockett. Sir, thanks so much for taking the time. You're drier than most.
That's because I stood under a lot of trees, Brett.
I want to bring you on as a partner, touch on the relationship between CSF, Boone and Crockett, and why it works so well.
So Boone and Crockett is, we're a very old organization. We were founded in 1887 by Theodore Roosevelt. And, we have been primarily focused on policy around wildlife and habitat health, public access. And so we have a lot of common ground with Congressional Sportsmen's Foundation, and we really appreciate the work that they not only do at the national level, but also at the state level for their state caucuses, and we're very involved with that as well. So it's a great partnership. Jeff Crane and Taylor Schmitz are, close personal friends of mine, and they're just really good folks to work with. And I kind of look at, in a lot of ways, that when you get a piece of legislation developed, there's a lot of groups that might be involved with making that solution, developing that solution. But Congressional Sportsmen, that's the group that's going to get the distribution done, get it to the members, continue to have that pressure with the caucus, and so they do a really good job of that. And we're more of a think tank, progressive thinking group that helps with the solution part.
Yep, we both. I appreciate the recognition of the work being done at the state level, because quite honestly, the stuff that our members here today get involved with on the Hill is important, and they're big policy issues. But a lot of the stuff, as you well know, gets done at the state level that affects all of us in our own backyard. So if you're just a resident hunter, you're not traveling, or you are a non-resident hunter that's traveling here or there, all these local laws and regulations affect all of us in our pursuits.
Absolutely, and you can take chronic wasting disease as an example. There's a bunch of us, including Boone and Crockett, CSF, that worked very, very hard to get the chronic wasting disease Research and Management Act passed. There's a lot of money there. There's $17.5 million that is now going to go back to the states for watching the spread of CWD and mitigating the spread of CWD. So, we work on stuff in Washington, D.C. that does end up at the state agency level. And in that case, the states were already spending about $2 million a year on their own. So this is going to help them. we have an eventual goal in that arena of about $60 million. But yeah, so we work together to at the federal level. A lot of that times that money will flow down to the states, and it works. We all got to work together, right? I mean, we got the federal folks that are doing their thing. We got the state folks that are doing their thing, and we just gotta make sure everybody's kind of marching to the tune of the same drummer.
Right, it certainly helps. Coming to the end of some of the policy sessions of 24, looking ahead to 25, is there anything Boone and Crockett really wants to get over the goal line now, or is working proactively towards for next side?
So we're very interested in getting a farm bill done.
Yeah.
What is the reality of that? I don't know. There's an excellent bill that's now coming out of the House side. The forestry and conservation titles, totally bipartisan. Everybody's bought in on them. I know the Forest Conservation Easement Program, which is a new program for private forest owners, is in the House bill. We are hoping, the Senate is. We hear rumblings in the Senate about a bill. We've seen a kind of a sketch of that. We were hoping that the farm bill moves. But that's really, a 50-50 shot. That's the big one. That's probably the most important one that does more for conservation and hunting and fishing, and people don't even realize it. But there's, it's a big chunk of money, and if we can get that one over the goal line, we'd be pretty happy about that.
Sir, this is Trina. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate you coming down, and hope you enjoyed the day. Thanks so much for your leadership and partnership.
Yeah, I think this is about the 15th time I've been here, or maybe even the 20th. I don't know. It's been a while.
Fantastic.
It's a great event.
Next time it'll be better weather, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, sir. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks, Fred. Appreciate it.
All right. We are rolling. All right, I am joined now by Congressional Sportsman's Caucus co-chair in the House, Representative Garrett Graves out of the great state of Louisiana. Sportsman's Paradise. You and I just had a conversation recently that the listening audience can look forward to. We chatted about rigs to reef here, but more lighter day here. The Congressional Sporting Clays competition. How was the course?
Oh, it was awesome. Such a great event. Fantastic to be outside, and such a diverse group of people here today. So definitely 10 out of 10.
Yeah, indeed. And speak to that. I've been asking our guests. The running theme here is exactly that. The diversity here with all of our members and our partners and guests. The strength of the CSC, the biggest caucus on the Hill, as the example for getting things done as government and leaders. Speak to that, if you would.
Well, look, there's no doubt about it, and this is a caucus that brings people together. People love the outdoors. I mean, this event, getting people, despite the fact we have a little bit of liquid sunshine going on right now, but getting people to come out here, it draws just an incredible crowd of people. I was walking around the House floor talking to people about it. Hey, you're going to come out? And I mean, the number of people and everyone, when I handed them a card, like, yeah, we're going to be there. So this is really, I think, a great template, a great model for the rest of the Congress. It's no secret that we've had a very, very contentious year and a half. Mm-hmm. I'd say maybe even a little dysfunctional or polarizing. And you're exactly right that you look at some of the agenda items that the caucus has identified as priorities, and we've knocked them across the goal line already. And so just great model, and really need to do more of this, I think, to develop more relationships, more trust, and be able to build on that foundation to get other things done.
Yeah, indeed. Referencing the historic times that we're in, and things are so busy on the Hill, and we're in a presidential, a 4-year election cycle season. Have you been able to break away for yourself and get a line back?
I have. I will tell you that not near as much as most years. We opened our red snapper season early this year, and so, in fact, we opened it on tax day.
Oh, good.
And
something better then.
Yep. It did give us much better association, but I was really hoping to get a number of trips out this year, and I haven't been able to get too many, but been able to do a few saltwater trips and then a few freshwater trips. But looking forward, I've got a number more offshore trips planned this year, so I'm looking forward to getting out.
Fantastic. And your state, your home state of Louisiana, it is a sportsman's paradise. So this might be a hard question for you to field, but if you could tell a non-resident angler, sportsman, outdoor recreator, if there's one or two items they could come to Louisiana for? Like, what do they absolutely have to do, see?
Look, if you're somebody who loves the outdoors, in a lot of states you have things like hiking and mountains, you have snow skiing. Our outdoor situation is totally different. We have one of the most unique coasts in the United States. It's not this white sandy beach. It's the third longest shoreline in the United States, and it is just this amazing productive coastal wetland. So getting out there, you want to do something that's amazing, go fish for redfish and speckled trout in a fishing kayak. And I mean, just remarkable. You can hook onto a bull red. It's like a motor taking you for a ride.
Saltwater sleigh ride.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing experience. But one of the most beautiful outdoor scenes, the sunrise, the sunset, the diversity of waterfowl. I mean, it is remarkable. So I definitely played, to tip to the coast and try to do a inshore, nearshore fishing trip, especially if you're willing to go out there in a kayak. Just amazing experience. And I put that one up at the top of the list. Of course, I do have to mention, with the bounty in the Gulf of Mexico right there, the restaurants, the chefs, the food, the creativity is remarkable, and you definitely got to get a taste of some of the great restaurants and chefs that are just complete artists in the kitchen down there.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to mid-November when we bring our NAS Summit to Baton Rouge and experience some of the flavor of Louisiana and some of the outdoor recreating. So hopefully we get to see you down there and experience your home state. And just excited about it.
Well, we really appreciate y'all coming down and looking forward to hosting you down there in Baton Rouge. It'll certainly be a great event.
Fantastic. Sir, thanks so much for your time. Thank you for your leadership, and look forward to a more in-depth conversation as we bring it to you with the Congressman on Rigs to Reef later this summer. Sir, thanks so much for your time.
You bet. Thanks for
All right, you bet. All right, the festivities are winding down here at our rainy Congressional Sporting Shooting Clays and Craft competition. We're joined now by CSF board member and president and CEO of the NSSF, Joe Bartozzi, joins us. Sir, how are you? How was the day?
I'm a little wet, Fred, to be honest with you, but it was a great day. It's always a great event. I love being here. I've been to several of these, and so yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, good. Everyone seemed to have a really good time. Awards were given out. Not a sour look in the crowd.
Can't have a bad time if you're out enjoying yourself with friends and colleagues and doing some shooting. That's a great pastime.
For sure. So for the listening audience, because we do have many people listening in who don't know who NSSF is, please tell us briefly who you are, what you do for the organization beyond the title I gave, and what NSSF does for the conservation of the shooting sports community.
Well, NSSF stands for the National Shooting Sports Foundation. We are essentially the trade association for the firearm and ammunition industry. We've got about 12,000 member companies. We don't really have individual members, but we've got 12,000 companies, and that would be retailers of firearms and ammunition, manufacturers, distributors. We have some endemic media. We've got ranges that are members of NSSF, and our job is to, I say, we advocate on behalf of the industry. We communicate to the industry, and we educate the industry on regulatory compliance and other things that are relevant to their businesses. As a trade association, those are the things that we focus on for our industry.
So everything from manufacturer level to big box store to the mom and pop in your backyard doing, not muzzle loader, but shotgun transfers for turkey season, right?
Yeah.
Making sure everything is so in an ever-changing environment.
Yeah, it really is ever-changing, especially since, the ATF has this zero tolerance policy that they've adopted. I mean, none of us want guns getting in the wrong hands. We fully support law enforcement and public safety without question. However, when there are companies being called out and having their licenses revoked for minor clerical errors, that gets a little bit hard to take. And so we are trying very hard to help them avoid that situation. We've got consultants that go in and help them take a look at their books. We do mock audits, mock inspections for our retailers and other members to try and keep them compliant and to avoid this whole of government attack, frankly, by this administration. But not to get too political, it is a trying time for folks in our industry at this moment.
Certainly. I mean, an example of that is, Form 4473 that every individual that purchases a firearm in this country has to complete. And it feels like, at least once a year there's some change on that. Maybe I'm being a little too hyperbolic on the frequency, but it changes a lot.
It changes a lot.
And it's a lot to keep up with. And, like to your point, one little miscue, you get kind of used to things going a certain order, and then you're in
trouble. Yeah, the ATF, unfortunately, there are some folks that are looking to put you out of business, and our job is to try and keep you in business and compliant with the law. We don't want anyone skirting the law. We want to do the right thing, but mistakes happen, especially when you're processing tens or thousands of these things every year. It could happen. So again, we're trying to get the message across. We're providing online and live training events for our members all around the country, and we're proud of it, but we're fighting the good fight to try and keep people in business.
Indeed, lots of stuff happening on the Hill last session, this current session. No secret, lots of gridlock there. However, at the state level, feels like there's some good stuff going on, at least from our perspective. There's always attacks, but in the Northeast where I'm from, we're getting ready to have the governor of New Hampshire sign a merchant code piece of legislation that prevents such items from being put on, and other states that have done the same. I know there's some that are going the other way with that, but no movement there. So, wins like that at the state level are good. Then, conversely, we have states trying to put additional excise tax or sin tax. California, thanks so much for starting that trend. And, so, there's a good, there's plenty of bad, and you guys come in conjunction with our partnership.
Right. Look, the merchant category code issue, there is something profoundly private and personal about what you buy at a retail store, okay? And to have states like California and Colorado say, no, we want to know what you're doing and where you're spending your money, there's something just is wrong with that. And so we're very pleased that we have now, I believe it's 16 states, including, as you mentioned, New Hampshire just recently, that have now passed bills and have signed legislation to prevent that from happening. That makes it illegal to collect that type of data. So
Alabama, as we're recording this morning, I think signed into law.
Yes, I know we had passed the legislature. Is it signed this morning? I haven't checked my email.
I saw that the headline while everyone was out in the course, and it said, "Hey, all right, Alabama, let's
wonderful,
go."
wonderful." So that's a very important thing for the right to privacy. It is a civil right, like owning a firearm is a civil right. But I guess some states are make you less of a citizen if you choose to exercise those rights. So it's unfortunate.
All right, he made it back to regularly scheduled programming here with Joe Bartozzi, who I mentioned is a board member of Congressional Sporting Clays. So as busy as you guys are, as busy as you are leading the charge at NSSF, how do you find time to be a board member for CSF, and why?
Well, the why is easy. It's why is because it's important, because it's got to be done, and the other part of it is, like I tell people, no one can do everything, but everyone can do something. And if I can contribute even a little bit to the board, and with some of my about 40 years of experience in the industry, I'm happy to do it. And again, the conservation efforts, the legislation efforts, these are important things. And collectively, we've got great power in that board, and great ability to move things that help all sportsmen and women all over the country. So yeah, I'm happy to do it.
Well, we appreciate it, and your leadership and the collaboration and the support. Your regional guys give to our state teams and our regional teams. It's just so valuable to lean on each other at different times, and one leads the other and vice versa. So it, like you said, is a great collaborative effort, and we certainly appreciate the partnership and leadership on all things Second Amendment and our civil rights. So we got a fight ahead of us, and we're glad to have you.
Yes, we do. We do have a fight ahead of us, but again, I love the fact that we are working together. We're collaborating on things that are making a difference. That's what keeps you going, right? It makes, if you can do something that has an impact, it makes it worthwhile to fight the fights and to get the stress and the agita, as I say. And but again, collectively, we're very strong, and we have a very powerful voice.
Agreed. Sir, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Freddie.
All right, as we put a wrap on the day, the rain has stopped. Perfect timing. Joined now by our fearless leader, President and CEO of the Congressional Sporting Foundation, Mr. Jeff Crane. Jeff, how was the day?
Wet.
but great. I think it was a day for the duck hunters today, and they might have had a little bit of a handicap out there, Fred, but everybody did a great job. Everybody had a good time. It wasn't too cold, but it could do without the rain maybe next year.
Yeah, indeed. I don't know how we work that out, but some way we'll put an order in for sunshine. Common theme today, and in talking with our members and our partners, and as kind of always, what a great example of getting all diversities of thought, philosophy, political persuasion to come out for an event, for a cause, and all that ancillary stuff is on the side. No.
That's the beauty of a bipartisan caucus in Washington and across the country, is that spirit that, we're Americans first, and our passions and the great outdoor traditions are so important that we can check some of the other stuff where we disagree and rally around the things we agree. And I think that's always something that we pride ourselves in CSF, as you're well aware, and I think it was in full display today.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Congressional Sporting Caucus, as we talk about being the largest on the Hill, such an example, and you kind of wish other people could join in the same spirit, but learn from that example, really, and just, can you apply some simple principles of this great organization to your everyday? I mean, that might be a tall task, but it gives us hope, and it can be done, I guess, is my point.
Yeah, it's probably a little Pollyannish to think that you could do that, but this is proof that you can. And if these elected officials could find that common ground and focus on that, I think there'd be a lot more unity, and I think it would be healthier for the country. But at least in our space, as you're well aware, Fred, by having both sides of the political aisle represented, we're able to find that sweet spot in the middle and get things done. And again, it was on big display, and kudos to the members of the Team Democrat team. They don't have the same strength in numbers, but they show up here, and they've got some good shooters on their team, and I'm just real happy to see everybody out here and all our partners. And I've been doing this as my 23rd year of doing this event, and so every year I think we just have a great event. People are enthused. People walk away. I hear people just chattering, going, "This is just a killer event." So that makes me happy.
Yeah, no, it's good, and we can build on this success for 2025. You will be clear an election year, and kind of get some things done, and maybe more members can come out and join us with some renewed focus. Just an opportunity to do great things and build on this.
Yeah. So again, as I was saying from the microphone here, this is about the camaraderie around the shooting sports, and it brings our partners together with our bipartisan members of Congress. But, it's what we do every day, and you're a big part of that, and going and working in the legislatures and working in the governor's offices, working in the administration in Washington, that gives us that level of respect, because we're in this with one agenda, and that's to do the right thing for conservation, hunting, fishing, trapping, and shooting. I check all the rest of it at the door, and they know us and respect us because we're always going to be honest brokers. And I think, again, it was on display today with our partners that showed up, with our members of Congress that showed up. And, to everybody, they were great sports today, because it was raining pretty good there for a while.
Yes, no doubt. No need to say any more. I think that puts a nice bow on a great day. Thanks for your leadership. Thanks for coming out and getting to see you out there, and also slogging it in the rain. And look forward to doing this next year.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, I think you got a flavor for the day as it progressed there through some of the conversations. Some heavy rain to start. Certainly wound up not as wet towards the end, and overall it's just a really, really great day. Everyone was in good spirits, had a lot of fun, and I think that came through with those conversations there. Get a little more flavor with that background sound. I always enjoy being able to bring some of that, not in such a highly produced sort of way. Like I think it's fun to have the shooting going on in the background and the hum of the crowd there. It just speaks to the excitement of the event. So I hope that came through. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing a little of that. Maybe inspires you to go out and do some shooting yourself. Like, it's been a long time, and better weather's here. Turkey seasons are winding down, and what better time to go out and do some sporting clays or just go do some target shooting. So anyway, hope that came through, and again, I hope you enjoyed that flavor. Thanks so much to our guests, our leadership, our partners. Running themes there, obviously, from our leadership and from our partners, but their firsthand testimony and being able to speak to their whys and how this all works and what makes CSF one of the most powerful conservation organizations in our space. Never mind just in policy, but what it is we're able to offer and bring value to our partners and to our leadership on the Hill and at our state houses. And I think that was on full display there in those conversations. So if you missed Congressional Clays, definitely you'll want to be involved there next year. If you're a partner, a staffer, if you're a member hearing this, don't miss out. And as was said, this was the first time with rain, and we still went. So it probably will work out that the rain, given the ratio there, probably won't be a thing next year. So always fingers crossed for better weather. But do join us. Our events are so much fun, between the clays competition, the fishing trip. If you tuned into our roundup yesterday, you heard Chris Horton talk about the congressional fishing trip was just a lighthearted event, but to highlight fisheries policy and kind of get people with a common interest and love for the water and angling in one place. And we'd love to have you and fill up more boats. Our wine wheels event coming up later this year, and our chairman of the board's beautiful vineyard down there in North Carolina, Mr. Richard Childress. Our banquet being held in September in DC. That's a monster of an event, and if you can make it, do it. But all that to say, our events team is just top notch, and they put on a hell of a show, and that is definitely felt by our guests, by our membership. And you heard that there at the even despite the rain, the weather, right? People still had a good time. So certainly a tip of the cap to our events team. They do such a great job. And then just Ashley Nixon, PJ Carlton, Chris Langevin, just so awesome. And happy to be a part of that, a very small part of support, but being able to bring you the content here from it. So with that, it's a shorter episode, so I'll do a shorter out. Remind you of all the housekeeping. Like, subscribe, rate. We're available. Please do so. Please take the link feed, drop it in your social feeds, and let's get this thing. I really, we're almost at a year anniversary, if you can believe it, a year of the Sportsman's Voice podcast, the evolution of that as we're coming along, and you guys and the feedback are certainly a part of that. I know people are enjoying the weekly roundup, the newscast that we're offering, and then coupled with our feature, the whole start of this, the feature show every other Thursday. So count on those drops weekly and bi-weekly, and do share them around. I joked the last episode about making waves in Great Britain, and that's still a thing. We're trending there. India as well. So maybe the conservation message isn't just so refined to North America and Africa, and other people are listening. So maybe we're inspiring some great change across all the continents where there is conservation efforts and wildlife to manage. As we all know, North America, in the North American model, we get it right. We're the envy of the entire planet. And then Africa as well with their wildlife management. I digress. You can help us by doing all that, sharing and liking and the subscribing and putting it on your feeds, and letting the people out there in your ecosystems know who we are, what we do, and how we are helping in their backyard, as well as with federal policy. Thank you, as always, for bringing us along for your day, wherever that's at, and the support of this very, very important program without being hyperbolic. I do believe that. I'm not just saying that for a bumper sticker there. It is the work that's being done by our team and bringing it to you, to your ears. It's important, and it's important that people know what we're doing and the support we get from our partners and our. There you have it. As always, we are your inside connection to outdoor legislation. Thanks for having us along. Continued success for what remains of the turkey season. It is not very much, but here in the Northeast, we're charging hard, and it's getting hot towards the finish line. So that'll be that. We'll see you on Wednesday for the roundup, and then a couple Thursdays from now, we'll bring you more features, and we got a hell of a lineup coming here, all the way planned out to about the end of the year. So lots of good stuff coming from really great partners, leaders, and celebrities in the space. So be sure to look out for those alerts, and you can get all that by subscribing and rating. Just shows up right in your feeds and right on your phone. So if I've said it one too many times, I'll move on. So like, subscribe, rate. Have a good week. We'll see you next time. So long. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the Sportsman's Voice podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, your support is crucial, and you can help us out right now by leaving a review, filling in those 5 stars where available, sharing this episode with friends and family, and engaging with us socially. CSF can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Together, we can protect the outdoor sports we love and continue to keep you informed wherever you are. That's it for this week. Until next time, we'll see you later.